The disaster inflicted by Typhoon Haiyan, known as Typhoon Yolanda in the Philippines, has significantly shaped the development path taken by the armed forces of the Philippines. Like its counterparts in other countries, the armed forces of the Philippines is tasked with the missions of both external defense and humanitarian aid and disaster relief, in addition to its counterinsurgency operations. When it comes to disaster relief, despite the armed forces of the Philippines' experience in responding to frequent earthquakes and typhoons, its lack of capacity for airlift and sea transport limits its humanitarian capabilities in the archipelagic environment. With just 3 C-130 transporters, a limited number of utility helicopters, and a few landing and logistic vessels, Manila is unlikely to be able to deliver satisfactory quantities of materials and other aid to affected areas among the 7,100 islands of the Philippines. As the Philippine Air Force pushed to improve its overall airlift and transport capabilities, with the limited funds allocated to them, the service has included the acquisition of surplus but refurbished Lockheed C-130 Hercules, a heavy tactical transport aircraft from the U.S. government, as part of its shopping list under the Horizon to Priority projects. Being an existing and longtime user of the C-130 Hercules, the Philippine Air Force found it logical and practical to purchase surplus C-130 aircraft with its meager budget, rather than push for brand new, similar-sized aircraft. In this video, we will see how the Philippine Air Force selected the Lockheed C-130 Hercules for their heavy tactical transport aircraft, looking at how much it cost. How many units will there be? But more importantly, we will look at what it is capable of, and when we could see it in action.
330 for 62 low 665.
301 Freedom Marshall, Case 3 recovery, CV1 approach, expected final bearing 331, altimeter 3001. 301 Marshall 170, 24 Angels, Niner.
The Philippine Air Force acquisition of refurbished and upgraded Lockheed C-130 Hercules aircraft is among those included in the Horizon to Priority projects that were given in principal approval by President Duterte in June 2018. The project has an approved budget of 2 billion pesos, or $41.6 million, for 2 units of C-130 Hercules heavy tactical transport aircraft. The huge budget is due mostly to the upgraded avionics, spare parts and logistics support, and other ancillary costs rather than the airframe itself. Air transport has long been a problem of the Philippine Air Force, and the Joint U.S. Military Assistance Group Philippines has recommended to the U.S. Department of Defense to assist the Philippine Air Force in building this capability. For this project, the U.S. stepped in to assist through the U.S. Foreign Military Financing Program, which now allowed the Philippine Air Force to acquire 2 refurbished and upgrade C-130 Hercules aircraft instead of just 1. The overall cost of the project went up to 2.5 billion pesos, or $52 million. But the Philippine Air Force is now just shouldering less than 1.6 billion pesos, or $33 million plus other expenses, worth more than 170 million pesos, while the U.S. Department of Defense paid for 900 million pesos, or $18.5 million worth of the project. This allowed the Philippine Air Force a savings of around 400 million pesos, or $8.3 million, which it was able to use in other modernization projects that encountered shortfall in funding. The first aircraft arrived at Villamar Air Base in Manila on January 29, 2021, after flying from Guam. 2 days later, the C-130 Hercules was transferred to the Philippine Air Force Air Mobility Command at the Brigadier General Benito Air Base in Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu Province, where it is expected to enter service with the Philippine Air Force 220th Airlift Wing. The first aircraft was formerly a U.S. Air Force C-130 Hercules transport aircraft, built in 1987 and delivered in 1988. It was converted to an MC-130W Combat Spear Special Operations aircraft, used for infiltrating, exfiltrating, and resupplying U.S. operations forces. It also can act as an aerial refueling tanker for special operations helicopters and aircraft. While the aircraft was retired in 2016 and its special operations equipment removed, it is possible that the internal plumbing for the aerial refueling system could be intact, which would allow for easier conversion to a tanker aircraft in the future. While the second aircraft is expected to be delivered in mid-2021. The Lockheed C-130 Hercules is an American four-engine turboprop military transport aircraft designed and built originally by Lockheed Martin. Capable of using unprepared runways for takeoffs and landings, the C-130 was originally designed as a troop medevac and cargo transport aircraft. The versatile airframe has found uses in a variety of other roles, including as a gunship like the AC-130, for airborne assault, search and rescue, scientific research support, weather reconnaissance, aerial refueling, maritime patrol, and aerial firefighting. It is now the main tactical airlift for many military forces worldwide. The Lockheed C-130 Hercules has a crew of 5, with 2 pilots, navigator, flight engineer, and loadmaster. Using its aft loading ramp and door, the C-130 Hercules can accommodate a wide variety of oversized cargo, including everything from utility helicopters and 6-wheeled armored vehicles to standard palletized cargo and military personnel, capable of airdropping loads up to 19,000 kilograms, or use its high flotation landing gear to land and deliver cargo on rough and dirt strips. The flexible design of the Hercules enables it to be configured for many different missions, allowing one aircraft to perform the role of many. Much of the special mission equipment added to the Hercules is removable, allowing the aircraft to return to its cargo delivery role if desired. Additionally, the C-130 can be rapidly reconfigured for the various types of cargo, such as palletized equipment, floor-loaded material, airdrop platforms, container delivery system bundles, vehicles, and personnel up to 92 passengers or 60 for airborne troops, or aeromedical evacuation for 70 for litter patients, with 5 medical crew. The aircraft has a payload capacity of 19,000 kilograms, with a length of 29.79 meters, a wingspan of 40.41 meters, and a height of 11.66 meters. The aircraft can take off at a maximum weight of 70,300 kilograms. With 4 powerful turboprop engines, each has 4,590 shaft horsepower. The Hercules has a maximum range of 3,800 kilometers, with a maximum speed of 590 kilometers per hour. The arrival of these C-130 aircraft will certainly boost the Philippine Air Force existing fleet of 3 operational C-130s operated by the Mactan-based 120th Airlift Wing, 2 H models, and 1 older B model. The extra airplanes would build the country's maritime domain security capacity and bolster its airlift fleet. These aircraft would be vital to future humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations in the country. Today's patron and YouTube member shout-out goes to Jesse Contreras, BGC Online Store, J. Patrick Manga, Cassie A., EJ Munciak, Christian M., Robert Rizolino, Kurt Harry Alburo, Sean TV. Thank you so much for all your support, and you all deserve nothing but gratitude.